The character of Lulu in the 1928 German feature Pandora's Box is the ultimate lethal seductress, not for being the most wicked, but the most innocent. The great Austrian director G.W. Pabst searched long and hard for her.
Pabst for a year hadn't begun Lulu because he'd been looking around for a girl to play Lulu and he couldn't find anyone. They picked girls up off the street. It was like looking for Scarlett O'Hara in the German version. And finally he saw me in a box picture with Victor McLaglen called The Girl in Every Port, and he said, "That is my Lulu," and no one seemed to agree with him. But at any rate, I left Paramount and decided to come, and at that very time, when I sent the cable saying that I could come, he had Marlene Dietrich sitting in the outer office, because he thought, if I can't get Brooks, I will take her. She's too old. She's 25. I was 21. And it's a part that can't be played by her type, you know, that one look which gives the scene away.
On the surface, Pandora's Box is the story of a beautiful young girl who destroys the men around her through her innocent sexuality. We first meet Lulu and her rich lover in Berlin, where she dances in a fashionable theater. By the end, she is living a fugitive existence, a streetwalker in a London slum, picked up on Christmas Eve by Jack the Ripper. Startling in its sexual candor, Pandora's Box is a complex drama suffused with both allegorical and psychological meaning. Co-star Frances Lederer, who had played in the stage production, felt Louise was perfect for her role.
It was a very famous German stage classic by Wedekind, Die Büchse der Pandora. That was the title on the stage in Germany. The name is the name of a very decadent goddess. They decided to have the part played by Louise Brooks. I never heard of her before. She was a mysterious angel, and that is actually what the character was meant to be by the writer.
And so it was that Louise Brooks became the first significant Hollywood actress to go to Germany, instead of the other way around. She received a royal welcome at the train station by director Pabst himself. Brooks in Berlin, Louise and Lulu were perfect for each other. The Germans were fiddling while the Weimar Republic burned. Hitler was just 3 years away, but Berliners wouldn't believe it. Louise plunged happily into the decadence and sensual smorgasbord of the city. Pabst did his best to reel her in.
I really didn't know any of the actors. In the first place, Pabst didn't want me to know any. He was so afraid that I'd run out at night and go to all those lesbian joints or get drunk.
Pabst loved her sexuality, but had more than sex in mind for her. He wanted psychological realism. Under his skillful direction, he drew from her a white-hot performance, as intense and erotic as any ever captured on film. He made Lulu a screen icon for all time. Beneath Brooks' powerful sexuality lay a subtlety that was startling in its simplicity and truth, so natural it didn't look like acting. And people did not know what to make of it.
It's just so hard to capture her. I think she was right in saying that what she did on screen was play herself. And in Pabst, she found somebody who knew how to use that well. And they really were interconnected. And it's rare that an actor gets that kind of relationship. He knew how to just let her behave. He would just give her a very simple direction, like just one emotion, and then let her behave around that emotion or that action. Like she was a dancer, so it was like choreography. She was sexual, she was unapologetic, and that's what he needed in Lulu.
Louise's acting was unlike anything ever seen in Germany. The German intelligentsia were appalled to find an American girl playing their German Lulu. They had taken that character to heart.
There were criticisms when the movie came out, she's not doing anything. Well, she was doing so much. That's just not what they expected acting to be. She had such an expressive face, and so often he left the camera on her face. And even though it was somebody else's moment, the camera was on her face. She was so exquisite looking, and she had that ability where you could read thoughts across her face and read emotion, and it was like quicksilver.
Louise was and is and shall remain in my memory as always a mystery. That's why Pabst and the producers chose her. She was a mystery from A to Z.
Pandora's Box was strong stuff for Germany, but even stronger for Americans. Film censors waited with scissors poised for her next film. Louise loved her director, G.W. Pabst, and she jumped at the chance to work in his next film, 1929's The Diary of a Lost Girl.
Diary of a Lost Girl, I guess that is the most mutilated, the most cut. I know the writer of it saw it in Paris after it was released, and he said, it stopped, and he said, I thought the film was broken. He said it was over. It was released and cut almost in half.
Louise made one more picture in Europe, Prix de Beauté. It was a stunning film about a girl who was torn between marriage and the fame and professional opportunities that are offered her as the result of a beauty prize. This sound film was as beautiful as The Star, but was marred by poorly dubbed dialogue provided by a French actress.
Jolie, hein?
After the film was completed in Paris, Pabst begged Louise to stay in Europe and let him turn her into an international star to surpass Garbo. She refused. She was bored by the idea of learning a foreign language, and she was homesick for the States. Angrily, Pabst told her she would end up like Lulu.
She was this tremendous force, but she was a hedonist. I mean, it was all out there. What she needed was somebody to garden that, to mold it into, to give it boundary. And of course, Pabst was that person.
I think she was really smart, and she didn't suffer fools, and Pabst held her interest. I think that he appreciated her intelligence, and he said to her, you have got to get yourself together and stop drinking and be disciplined. And she didn't want to hear it, you know, and I think it scared her.
And so the rage of Berlin and Paris fled from the scene of her triumph to face an uncertain future in the Hollywood industry that had once abused her. Brooks had exchanged her Hollywood career for independence, fun, and 3 European films nobody in America would appreciate for years. Her stunning work in the German silence was largely ignored because the only thing grabbing headlines now were the new American talkies.
What happened backstage? Were you able to see the Canary?
No luck, Charles. She's about as hard to get out in her dressing room as she is in that swing.
But Paramount was willing to give her one final chance. Her last American film, The Canary Murder Case, shot as a silent, needed retakes to be released as a sound film.
So they called me in New York in December, and they said, you must return to Hollywood to make this into a talkie. I said, well, you certainly let me go without so much as so easy. I said, anyhow, I hate Hollywood. I'm not going back. Well, they were just living. They had to get a girl called Margaret Livingston. She was in Sunrise. Remember, she was very good. And it cost them a fortune to dub her voice and reshoot some of the scenes.
Send him in, please.